love, the verb, is an action. It's a choice. Yeah. I am friendly with everyone, but I'm friends with no one.
Meeting someone is dangerous because they can hurt you.
How do I remove the barriers that get in the way of my mission, love, and passion?
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Pick Now podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Munn. Today, we have a dear friend, a colleague, someone who goes way back to what? The late 90s, Trish?
Late 90s.
Yeah. And you and I have stayed in touch over the years and always just like pick up right where we left off. You are... you have a company called Enduring Success Strategies, where you really teach people how to create enduring success for themselves through relationship building and leadership and all those things. But also, and most inspiringly, if that's a word to me, you are an inspirational speaker and an amazing one. Welcome to the Pick Now podcast.
Thank you. I'm so glad that we finally made this happen. Jeff, you and I talk about this because we interact together often, and we say we should be recording our conversation. Why are we not recording our conversation? Why are we not recording you processing me right now? So I'm glad that we finally formalized this.
Yeah, me too. Well, and I warned you before we started, I have no idea where this is going to go today. And I'm tearing up a little bit because maybe not wisely, I watched your TED Talk right before we did this. And it's like, oh my gosh, we'll put a link to it in the show notes, but your personal story through sexual abuse and drug addiction and coming back from that. And it's just like, it is so moving. And I know you've spent some time telling that story, and that's really your passion. So, you know, how do we get everyone in this audience who's listening to or watching this podcast to hire you as a motivational speaker? Because it's just a fantastic message.
Thank you. Thank you. And I know that you'll remember this, had to have been 5 years ago, 6 years ago that I reached out to you after one of our, paths of not seeing each other. And when I was thinking about who are the people that have been important to me, who have played a role in my journey, whether they know it or not, people who inspired me, I want them to know my message, what I'm doing, and why. And you were one of the first people that I reached out to share the message with. Yeah. Wow.
Well, and I, you and I always, like, we had this really strong bond. And one of those things that just, I can't explain. Prior lives, who knows, right? And I didn't know your story.
Because nobody did.
Yeah. I mean, It took you a long time to kind of, you had all the lessons that you learned from it, but it took a while for you to like start revealing that.
Oh, for sure.
And so walk me through that. What was I don't want to delve into the story because people can hear the story in the TED Talk and you tell it so well, go watch the TED Talk. And, that's what, 1994, right?
If yes, I'm 1994. Very good. April 22nd.
I just saw it. Yeah. And there's a lot of years after that where you're like having to learn how to like be in the world, given this history and this past and what you've learned from it. And then there's I'm going to start telling people about this. So walk us through that.
And then can I add one more?
Of course.
One more stage to that,
yeah.
which might seem in conflict with sharing, but it's not. Also incorporating it into my business, right? Which is another whole category of choices, decisions. What do you do? Right. So,
right. Well, just to put a point on that, I think you and I are similar in this way, in that we kind of wear our heart on our sleeves. And
Mhm.
I am more about, whether you call it love or spirituality or like this kind of bigger journey, like I'm about embracing that for people. And you are just like, you know, your company is called Enduring Success Strategies, but you know, your TED Talk has boundless love in the title, and you bring that to your consulting work. And that,
Mm.
I mean, that takes some courage, right? To talk about boundless love in the corporate
Yeah.
world. Yeah.
Yes. And embracing it. So I think bringing that manifests in both just the way that we are
Right.
without the words,
Right.
the way that we are, the choices that we make when we're showing up in the interactions,
Yeah.
would be one type of courage, the
Hmm.
courage to whatever, ask a follow-up question or listen in a certain way or share a certain thing or whatever it might be. And then there's putting language to it,
Right.
that the word love, oftentimes, at least in a corporate setting, can be like, ooh,
Yeah.
hang on. Yet it's okay. If we think about core, a lot of times organizations will have core values that will say we care or we're
Hmm.
compassionate or we're
Right.
kind.
Right.
And so maybe a different conversation for a different day. I'm super fascinated by the resistance to a word
Yeah.
that is
Well, I
actually a
think,
universal word.
let's dive into this. So this is
Okay.
fascinating to me too, because the word that came up to me as you were saying all that
Yeah.
was like, there's a difference between performative love,
Mm.
performative caring, and actual caring and love and vulnerability and messiness and humanness. And the part that we resist in the corporate world, like we put on our, you know, when you and I were coming up, it was like business suits
Oh,
every
yeah.
day. Like there was literally this armor we put on
Mm.
to protect ourselves and to appear professional and polished and all of those things. And anything messy was like, oh, don't want to show that.
Mhm. The word performative love, it makes me pause for sure. You always make me think, by the way. BTW, every single conversation that we have, whether it's formal, informal, on the phone, video, whatever it is, you always ask a question or say something that makes me pause and think. So just put that over here. Uh, sometimes, sometimes I might suggest or try to inspire people to, yes, embrace love at its core action.
Mhm.
Showing up with the desire to give, the desire
Yeah.
to give, and the
Yeah.
choice to receive as well,
Right.
and the choice to receive.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, because sometimes receiving, there's resistance to that. There's resistance, and maybe before I even go further, I'll make the distinction between love, the emotion, which I
Hmm.
don't think is a choice.
Yeah.
I didn't choose to love Lily and Sam when they were born. Like it was a emotion that was just evolutionarily there, loving my
Right.
child. But then love the verb is an action. It's a
Yeah.
choice. It's that. But when you're saying performative love, sometimes I think the practice of giving love, even when it is performative, even when it's like, oh, I kind of have to do this right now, or I'm going to
Hmm.
do this right now, or I'm going to try to do this right now. It can, in fact, if we commit to that, it can transform to
Yeah.
the true core being of giving love in every moment with everyone. But
Yeah.
sometimes it is work.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
think it's really, because to me, and you know, I think one of the reasons that we connected on some level, just emotionally or whatever,
Yeah.
um, I did not have the childhood experience that you had. But I grew up with a mom who I'm not 100% sure of this, but all the signs lead me to believe that she was sexually abused.
Hmm.
And so her love of me was very inconsistent. I was amazing or I was awful. And so I felt like I was performing to get her approval, figuring out how I could get her approval and doing it.
Oh, right.
Right. And so that, to me, that showed up as performance. But to me, as I've grown older, decades of looking at this stuff, it's like, love is about vulnerability. And I was not showing any vulnerability. And that's like to me, that's the hard work of love, is that I'm going to I'm going to care for you. And I, that could be romantic care. It could be care in the context of a working relationship with someone, right? Absolutely.
Totally.
And I'm going to show you the messy parts of me in the process.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes, I'll tack on to that, sometimes in that interaction with one another, it reveals the messy part in you too. Meaning in the other person, right? By revealing the messiness in me. Yeah. It gives the space for the other person to reveal some messiness within them.
Well, and for, you do consulting and there is some coaching aspects in your work as well. I do coaching. And I think a lot of people just are, I had a guy tell me his origin story the other day, or, for our first official meeting as coach and client. And he was like, yeah, I haven't told anyone this stuff. But it's like, if we're going to do the work that we're going to do, it's essential. And I can't pretend I'm perfect, because I am not.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So hang on. Hang on.
Is this where you turn the tables, Trish?
No, because you asked, like, how did I decide to do what I'm doing? And then we were like, and then I was getting into it with you, because an interesting element is we were diving into love and consulting, coaching, creating the space to give and receive the action. So that truly is the core of what I do, my mission, my value, all of it. Mm-hmm. The decision to actually share my story. We'll say the TEDx story, just to make it easy, the TEDx story. The decision to share that story came from, because when I chose to build my own business, become a keynote speaker, do the consulting and all of those traditional things, if you just think about it as a craft, the craft of speaking or the craft of consulting or the craft of that. At the same time that was happening, I was experiencing in my life this realization that I had been, I'm going to use the word chasing. It's a little overused of a word, but just to help me out here, chasing success. And success was always evolving too. I
totally get that one.
Right. Yeah. And I came to this realization when Lily was, my daughter was 7 or 8, and an experience you'll hear in the TEDx talk, that success to me was that I finally am choosing in my life to love and what that shows up as the verb. And so as I was building my business, the choice was, do I double down on that mission and value and have the courage to go out there and say, you're asking me what success means. You're asking me, how did I become successful?
Right.
My story could have been a girl who went from poverty and a high school diploma to a partner at a consulting firm. That
Right.
is success in and of itself.
Yeah.
And
100%.
extraordinary.
Yeah.
And so I
Yeah. Kind of
couldn't have left
rags
it
to
there.
riches, right? You're more classic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is a part of the
Uh-huh.
story. It
Yeah.
100% is. To use your words, like then the courage to say, but that's part, but it's not all.
Yeah.
It's not it. It's not all.
Hmm.
And it was a journey for me to be able to really choose to be um, truthful and vocal about my message. And then once and truthful, and Jeff, get what it's like being bringing the whole.
Right. There's truth, and the truth, it like the depth of truth is kind of endless, right? You can I'm still uncovering stuff about me that's like, oh, wait. Oh, that's interesting. Like
Yeah,
there's
that is
no
articulated really
relate.
well.
I mean, that's kind of our journey, right? As human beings. It's like figuring ourselves out and then showing up as that, and then finding a few people who love us for that. Like that's it to me.
That's it. And the depth.
Yeah.
And even through my experience of incorporating story, message, vision, love into my business has been a journey of uncovering different depths that I wasn't even aware of.
So give me an example, and it could be, could be from a decade ago. Like what, those different layers that like showed up. That's like, oh, I didn't know that about myself.
Oh
Interesting.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'll give an example. This will go
Yeah.
way back, and then I'll think of one for right now. But way back, so when you and I knew each other, at Hewitt Associates,
Yeah.
this was whatever. Let's say late '90s, early 2000s.
Uh-huh. Sure.
And I had literally incredibly created a career that I continue to be so proud of.
Hmm.
So proud of. From Aetna to Hewitt, and to come from where I came from, to being from a drug addict at 20 years old
Yeah.
to being 27 years old, 28 years, like that's not a lot of time in between that,
Yeah.
to go from the pit to having this incredible professional career. So at that point, when I'm 30 years old, I was so fulfilled by what I had created professionally. And the
Mm.
professional success allowed me to be independent.
Mm.
And independent, I could pay for my own apartment. I could pay for a car. I
Right.
could pay to get braces when I was in my late 20s. I
Mm.
had a tattoo that was on my left arm from way back when, that I was able to get. Like, these were my motivations around professional success. It allowed me to do things and be independent in my life, and almost erase some of the things from my past. And
Mm.
that was fulfillment and success, and I've arrived. And then
Yeah.
you add the financial success to that, and I was like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, gosh, I mean, I was 30, and I looked around and realized, I was working, loved had an
Mm.
affinity for everybody that I worked with. But I looked around and I was like, you know what? I am friendly with everyone,
Mm.
but I'm friends with no one.
Mm.
And because I had not taken that step of being truly vulnerable with anyone
Mm-hmm.
about who I really was. And at that time, and I mean, I had great relationships. I had great relationships with you. I think about a great relationship with Craig Maloney and Scott Milson and Christy Knox and Nancy Coletto and all of these, Linda Ruth, all of these amazing people.
Yeah.
But my truth was here.
Mm-hmm.
And so to go a layer deeper required me to step outside of my comfort zone. Mm-hmm. And that's when I joined the running club in Chicago.
Oh, really? Okay. I remember when you did that.
Intentionally to meet other women that I could become friends with. Because I didn't go to the bars. I didn't do any of that stuff. I didn't date. Yeah. And so that was that is an example of truth being here. And then my choice to actually create friendship took me to another level, because I realized that friendship is, for sure, it's caring enough to listen to other people. But what I learned is that it's trusting enough to share.
Yeah.
And so as I started sharing a little bit more about Trish, then that you get to another depth of really uncovering and realizing things, or me uncovering and realizing things about me that I didn't even allow myself to acknowledge.
What I love is that that first step is that I think in our culture, whether then or now, the impulse, what we're taught is, well, you need to find a mate to complete you.
Yeah, right.
And you went to women first. You went to friendship first. Mm-hmm. And I'm learning as I get older, just like with men, like it is so rare for men to be friends at that level. And some of the most important relationships in my life right now are other men. And and just like there's something there that is so deep and valuable. And I love that you went there first.
Yeah. And they're still a part of my life. Mm-hmm. Those women, 5 women. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow.
And instrumental.
And you're doing this hard thing together, which has its own set of.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, come on. I mean, all you have time for is sharing. Yeah. while you're running and trying to motivate each other to not stop and whatever it is. So that was an important example of going a level deeper.
And then so you go this level deeper, and it's a positive experience. Mm-hmm. And so that leads to, maybe there's more, right?
Yeah. They kind of pushed me to explore more. Because at that point, becoming friends with these 5 women was really my first experience with good, positive community. I had I created my own communities when I was in like the destruction of drugs. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
Community doesn't always mean positive.
Right.
But like, the first just amazing growth-oriented come together community. And it was so awesome. And that was success to me at that time. And it carried on for quite a while.
Did you tell any of these women, did you begin to tell your story to these women? Is that where that started to come out a little bit?
Yes.
Yeah.
And in not all of it right away.
Yeah.
And in fact, the first significant thing that I shared, because at that time I believed I would never get married because I would never get married because I didn't want to have kids. I didn't want to be a mom. And I wore that almost like a badge of honor, that
Can you tell me more about that? Because I'm making up a story in my head.
I love that you do that. I love that
I want you to tell your story, not go on mine.
So the badge of honor that I carried around was that I don't need a guy. I don't need to get married. I can take care of myself. I'm Trish Trout. Because I was Trish Trout, and super proud about that. And I am independent, and I'm doing my thing, and I'm a career woman, which was the most important thing to me because it was a validation of where I had arrived.
Right.
The truth inside was that I actually did want to be loved, and I wanted to love, and I actually did want to become a mom one day, but I was so frightened and scared that I would fail at being a mom. Not that I wouldn't be able to become a mom.
Right. I know
worried
what you
about
mean.
that.
I know what you mean.
And that is the truth I would never tell anyone.
Yeah.
And so, go on.
There's another, I mean, I maybe this rings true for you, maybe it doesn't, but there's this through line that I see in some of my clients, the gentleman that I just talked about in myself, where when you grow up in an environment where you don't get what you need, it's really important for you to be independent and not need anyone. Because needing someone is dangerous because they can hurt you.
That's exactly what I carried for decades.
Yeah. And so how do you open yourself up to that?
Yeah, it was rocky. It was poor Joe.
Yeah,
I should say poor Joe.
I've never met Joe, but I love the guy.
I know. He's like amazing. So August. Oh my God, I don't even know our wedding anniversary. September will be our 18-year anniversary. And for anybody who's watching that doesn't know me, Lily's 16, Sam's 14. So we have an incredible family. You know what, Jeff? The reality is I kind of, what's the word? I would bring people, including Joe, but I would bring people in close enough to me.
Yeah.
To be like, oh, I love Trish. I really want more of Trish. And right when I would know that people were right there, I would go like this.
Yeah.
And I'm not answering your question because I think it's hard. It's hard for me to answer.
Yeah.
Because it didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I struggle with this too.
Yes.
So teach me.
I know it was.
Well, I'm still working on it.
I mean, the girls, the women, the marathon girls, that's what I call. That was practice. You know, it was like that was. I learned that it was a safe place to practice.
Yeah.
Giving a little bit more and needing a little, like even needing running partners on the lake path at 5 a.m. for safety, motivation, and we're going to get it done together.
Yeah.
Just a definition of needing. You know, I could have chosen to run by myself.
Right.
So the practice of, maybe it's the practice of showing need, even if it's in a practical way.
Right.
Helped me expand it a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And when I ended up telling the girls, Kathleen, Marcy, Claire, I always say the girls, when I shared with them that the true reason I wouldn't get married, or how about this? Let me change it. The real reason that I wasn't going to become a mom. I used to say it's because I didn't want to. I'm a career woman. This is what I want to do. And
right. I am
again,
professional and I have made it. And
yeah. And I love my friends' kids. And
Yeah.
I love my niece and nephew. I mean, I loved kids.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't need them for myself. But when I was honest and said that I was afraid to become a mom because my mom had a nervous breakdown. So I didn't tell them about my dad right
Oh,
away.
wow.
I shared about my mom, that my mom was bipolar and she had a nervous breakdown when I was 8. And so she was not
I didn't
emotionally
know
or
that,
physically.
Trish.
It's a big part. It's a big part of the love of my journey of losing. We've talked about this, like whether it's narcissism, whether it's neglect, whether it's absenteeism, whatever it is. She
Yeah.
loved me,
Yeah.
but she wasn't able to provide me
Yeah.
the ordinary acts of love. And in fact, she physically, when she came home from the hospital, was on medication that had her sleeping all the time.
Wow.
And so my older sister, Maria, really took over. She really took over
Is she the one who called you?
Mhm.
Wow.
And then you have the complexity of my dad in the situation. So all of
Well,
this,
yeah, but you have your and so the parallels and again,
yeah,
my situation was not your
but it's
situation,
still a
but there
parallel.
were these echoes, right?
Yes.
And one of the things, I had a great relationship with my father, and there were times where my father saw what my mother was doing emotionally to both of us and didn't protect either one of us.
And for you, either at that time or now, the betrayal that you felt.
I wasn't even conscious of it for years.
Mhm.
Yeah, but go on. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I just think
Yeah.
that's what I am curious about.
Yeah.
And where your energy was more directed towards. The one that didn't intervene or the one doing.
Well, the one who didn't
Yeah.
intervene was he was otherwise very consistent, and he died when I was 23. So,
Yeah,
and
that's
I'm an
right.
only child, so it was just me and my mom working on our shit for decades.
Working.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think when you talk about your female friends and getting used to, like, there is the container of an intimate relationship, you with
Mm.
a man and me with a woman, like, brings up all this shit. And I had these instinctive, protective, avoidant kind of things that would show up that were really, like I said, I'm still working through, like, the things that show up in the context of our relationship
Mhm.
don't show up in the context of my friends, or
Right.
yeah, it's like really the cauldron.
Oh my God. I'm gonna give you for us right now. Like seriously, I'm oblivious that anybody's gonna be watching this. This is literally me and you. Is this sometimes okay, I'm gonna back up and then move forward. We keep hammering love. Love is a verb, the action. It can
Yeah.
manifest practical, profound, little things, big things. We all know what it is, whatever, listening, constructive feedback, being candid, prioritizing time,
Hmm.
all of those things. So anybody who thinks it's squishy and soft, fine. I agree to disagree. Agree to disagree. So, but the reason I lay that out is because I literally, whether I use the word love or not, in all of my consulting, in all of my coaching, in all of my development, we get to explore the actions that will create a stronger, more enduring relationship with one another at
Hmm.
work, with clients, customers, or at home. That's the baseline. Yet, I still struggle with it.
Oh, yeah. 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 I mean,
Who
I've
doesn't?
never met anyone who doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah, like it is a
Yeah.
struggle, and it's the awareness that I've created around when I'm withholding or when I'm resisting that
Right.
I think has helped propel my journey forward. Because it's that active awareness, and then when I am aware when I am, then
Right.
I at least have an option to pause,
Right. Right.
right?
That's the only, you can't act on anything unless you're conscious of it. I mean, that's the first step. Like I've gotten into conversations recently with people, and when you're doing this work, it's like you see something for yourself and suddenly you're seeing it everywhere, and it shows up in your consulting and your
Yeah.
coaching too. And one thing that's hit me recently is there's no good or bad. People think there's these good parts of them and these bad. It's like there's just conscious and unconscious.
And how do Jeff, you people, go from unconscious to conscious? Right? Like, is there a way to take something that I'm not aware of and become aware of it?
I think one of the best ways is to have some kind of partner, whether that's a therapist or a coach or a close friend, or who is willing to reflect what they see in you.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's really hard to get outside of ourselves enough to see that. Because it's just it's our automatic pattern. It developed for really good reasons, probably to protect yourself when you were young.
For sure. Right.
And now it's just like your automatic. So, that shows up as like, well, I work harder than everyone else, or, I'm the last person to leave, or I have the best relationships, or I'm the smartest person in the room. And it helps us, we got some message early on because of the people around us, not because of us, that we weren't enough, or we were different, or we were too much. Right? That one shows up
Mm-hmm.
too. And we develop strategies around that, and without even really understanding what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm talking with someone, I work with a lot of high achievers.
Right.
There's some flavor of that in there. And that's like the first step is like, well, where'd that come from? Let's take a look at that.
I love it when you say that too. We'll be having conversations and you'll just pause and you'll go, huh, want to take a look at that? I'm like, no, actually, I don't. Right?
Yeah,
Like sometimes, whether you say that or not, when you're on, like, do I want to take a look at it? Because that's a choice.
it totally is. And you don't necessarily know what you're going to find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, by the time someone gets to a conversation with me, they're talking with me because they are ready to look.
Yeah, because they're aware that they need to become aware.
Right. It's like I may not understand how or why, but I'm beginning to get that I am the problem.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting in my own way, and I'm ready to look at that. I'm the talking with a guy the other day, it's like I'm the bottleneck.
Right.
I'm running a company and I am the bottleneck. And usually for most people can't just stop being the bottleneck without really exploring a little bit why they're being the bottleneck.
And is that when people are at a place where they are like they're ready when they're coming to you. So is it also that they're ready to accept? There's awareness and then
Mm-hmm.
maybe acceptance and then action. Do you think
Yeah.
that they're ready to accept what they do need to change? Or do you kind of suss that out too along the way?
Yeah. I mean, obviously it depends.
Yeah.
There, most of the time there's some level of acceptance, and there's a lot of fear, because like these are strategies that have been really helpful They have brought people to the level of success that they're at. They've worked. And so there's a lot of fear in like letting go of those. I mean, I've heard the phrase, well, wait, if I'm not stressed out and suffering all the time, I'll lose my edge.
That's a strong statement.
Yeah.
And it's a belief. And it's
a
work.
belief that it's this paradoxical belief that happiness means suffering. Mm-hmm. Like, how do we get to the part where we just get to be happy?
I don't know. I mean, I think I know sometimes, and then I lose sight.
Me too. Right. Yeah, I'll get in.
I know my North Star. I know it.
Not enough's happening. I need to make more phone calls. I need to blah, blah, blah. And it's like, wait a minute. And for me, I look back and it's like, okay, I'm running a business. I operate this business by having clients individually or in groups.
Yeah.
When am I best at that? And it's not when I'm stressing out about needing clients.
It's so true. It's so true. Right. Or take it with, you could apply that to anything in our daily lives.
Anything. Yeah. I mean, I got into playing saxophone, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not very good at saxophone when you're stressing out about it.
Oh my God, I got to practice. I didn't do it.
Yourself, it's got to flow. You've got to be good enough at it. Like, and this is like the whole journey of mastery thing, right? This is a whole separate conversation, Trish. Yeah. You've got to be good enough at it that it becomes automatic and you don't have to think about it anymore.
Which takes awareness, reflection, practice, commitment.
Yeah.
All the things.
It's like the hard work of making something easy. Like your talk.
All right, keep going. Delivering it? Tell me what you mean.
Well, you have to rehearse that so many times that it doesn't look rehearsed.
For sure. Rehearse spontaneity.
It's a paradox.
It is. And that is right on. And to the point of, we'll just use the TEDx as an example, but you're going to apply this in life everywhere, practicing love, practicing business development, practicing listening, all of that stuff. But I had gotten to the point before delivering that. Now, I also had the benefit that I had years before the TEDx talk, that honing in and being on my journey of mastery. I have not mastered it, but being on the journey of professional speaking as a craft helped me get here. But that TEDx talk, the organizer of this TEDx at the time, he's brilliant, a brilliant speech coach, writer, all that stuff. He would work with each of the speakers, however they wanted to. This was a bit ago. And when it got to the point where he worked with me, I was so practiced. Like, I had it so entirely nailed that we could throw everything out the window, everything out the window. And he had me practice, for example, in the TEDx talk, there's a statement about April 22nd, 1994, when I'm in a moldy, cold bathroom. Yeah. And when we were practicing, he had me fall to the floor. Literally fall to the floor. It was carpet, so I didn't get hurt. because I didn't have to think about words or content, or I only had to be in the moment. Yeah. And he wanted me to feel like what it felt to just collapse. And, but so just the whole idea of practicing any habit, anything that we want to incorporate in our lives, just requires doing it again and again and again and again and again and again, so we don't have to think about it. So then it becomes not a thought. Right. And we can open ourselves up to whatever else is happening in that experience.
Well, and to take that back, that's what we've been doing with the things that are now holding us back. We practice them over and over and over again, so they become automatic and we don't think about them. We're not even aware of. Like my early on when I decided, I'm going to become a coach, it was like, my initial impulse was, well, how do I show up as the person who people want to hire? So 100% performative. But that was my habit. That was the first 3, maybe 4 decades of my life. How do I show up how a successful person shows up? So I, got great grades, and I went to law school, and I went to a law firm, and I became partner in a consulting firm. And it's like, just like hamster wheel, hamster wheel, hamster wheel, not questioning any of it.
And so then when did you shift?
Well, it was a little bit at a time.
Yeah.
Definitely. It continues. It's still like, I don't know, they actually want that. I think I want this. I would say probably the first layer was in law school when I heard all my friends talking about how they wanted to be at these top law firms. And I was at University of Chicago. It was like the peak of like the LA law years. I mean, like you could get a job at a top law firm making top money, and like there was like glamour in the legal sense, like beckoned, right? Mm-hmm. And there were all these people talking about these, top tier law firms where they would just like grind 24/7 for however many years to become a partner. And I had the self-awareness to think that sounds awful.
Right.
And so, one little crack was, if I'm going to go to a law firm, I want to pick a law firm that I think I have a chance to make longer term, not the 2 years and out and then figure it out, get them on my resume. And then, the move from the law firm to Hewitt, because I was on the partner track. Mm-hmm. I got very good reviews. People didn't leave law firms when they were on the partner track.
Right.
And I left. And I left because, from my perspective, the partners didn't look very happy. It's like, well, if this is like the carrot, and I don't want the carrot, then what am I doing here? And then what we had at Hewitt and the amazing relationships and support and all of that. And I got to run my high achiever program for a few more years. That was great.
Yep. And you did, and excelled at it, and brought other people with you along the way, helped elevate people around you.
Oh, well, thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah, I don't think I was ever a jerk about it, but it was very driven, absolutely, and kind of exhausting. And then, so at some point along the way, I had been suffering from periodic panic attacks for several years, and in the mid 90s, I started meditating because. I always had this, and I've posted on LinkedIn, like this story that I was weird and I liked weird things. And so I kind of resisted meditation and Eastern philosophy and those kind of things, even as much as I was drawn to it. I resisted it because it was weird. And then Phil Jackson started teaching the bulls meditation. I thought, oh, well, this is now it's normal enough that I can do it. Right.
Yeah. And super cool.
Yeah. and yeah, so I started meditating. The panic attacks went away. I started getting I started getting promotions at Hewitt. It was like, you know, I came in 1995. In 1998, Frank Roque, I know you know that name, and John
Oh,
Hoos,
yes.
they decided that I should manage a group of lawyers. It totally caught me off guard. I thought, what are you talking about? Like the youngest person in the group besides me was 10 years older than me.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Wow. I
Yeah.
did not know that.
Yeah. I was, let's see, 98. So I would have been 33.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was managing lawyers who were in their mid 40s to late 50s. I didn't know what I was doing. And those things just kept showing up professionally. And I, you know, moved into the managing consulting practice, the MC practice, you know, client relationships, moved to DC. And then the next thing that happened was I discovered, and Trish, it was a complete shock to me, that I was miserable in my marriage. I mean, it just like, I don't know how I could have hidden that from myself for so long. Like just our capacity to like compartmentalize things really amazes me. And, you know, that was early 2000s. There's several more decades of like, oh, this, oh, this. It continues. I'm figuring out stuff today, you know?
Yeah. The power of compartmentalizing. That probably is, might have been one of the hardest things to change.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
you did.
again, it
And you did.
works, right? We do it because it works.
Yeah,
Just
totally.
head down, focus on the task at hand. Yeah.
And now you are such a gift to not just your clients, but to your friends,
Mm.
because you help other people realize, become more aware of what those barriers are. And you have this way about you with guiding, I'll just say me, so I'll speak for me, guiding me through my own realization process
Mm.
and acceptance,
Mm.
and then a little bit of action.
Yeah.
It's a gift. Mm-hmm.
Well, so we got a few minutes left, Trish.
Yeah.
I know one thing that you have wanted more of is more of these speaking opportunities, more ability to impact people with your story in the way that you've been able to impact people. I know that means a lot to you. How are you getting in your own way of doing more of that?
This is so I have like just been really reflecting lately. This might have come from a conversation you and I had a few weekends ago when we were doing our catch ups. A barrier, a barrier to my ability to maybe inspire more people. So let's make it like that. Has been my fear of my own financial worth. And there is, if you go back to what we were talking about, where I, became professionally successful, and part of that is a financial success, and there is an idea that I kept with me for a very long time that part of my, and maybe even a big part of the value that I bring to my family
Mm-hmm.
is my financial success.
Mm-hmm.
And I have always held on to that and been super proud of it. And so much so that a different conversation for a different day. But when Joe was like, we are not going to buy a horse for Lily. And I was like, you might not be doing that, but I'm going to do it. You know, like
Yeah.
I'm making fun of that, but there was a feeling of power in the dollar amount
Mm-hmm.
that I created in my professional life. And so when I went out on my own, I was very fearful to dive completely in and focus on choose and become. You know, within enduring success strategies, there's the inspirational choose and become, and really, really, really double down on, and nothing else, moving that mission. And I'm not regretful because I love my business. I love my clients. I love the sales development work that I do. I love the leadership development that I do. Yet, I wonder if I hadn't been tied to this barrier of my success is a dollar amount, and if I would have been more focused on my success is the experience of seeing people be moved and changed, whether there's a dollar amount there or not, what that would have, where I would be right now. And I don't know. But now I have an opportunity to say, okay, things are rocking in my business. And I get to choose where I invest my business development time, and reflecting on what will get in my way that I choose to remove, of not focusing it on over and inspiring more of the masses. So that was my story. The fear of financial worth is what blocked me from doubling down on only the focus around inspiration.
Can I share something else I see that might be going on?
Do you see what I mean? Whoever is watching this. Yes, I do. Yes, share.
I think there's a story in there that there's one part of what I do people are willing to pay me money for, and another part of what I do people are not willing to pay me money for, or are willing to pay me less. Does that have to be true?
No, it does not have to be true. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Can I keep going with that though?
Yeah.
Fragment of that? I don't even know if that's the right terminology. What if it's the story of I am more credible and it is easier to hire me in this world of consulting and sales development and leadership development than here on the inspirational keynote speaking circuit, if you will. Because I'm not known, you know, I'm known.
There's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
It is. Yeah. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying when I say here and here. Yeah. You know, everybody else doesn't know what I'm talking about.
The consulting side and the speaking side, to grossly simplify.
Yeah.
And you and I have also talked a little bit about, well, what if there were no separation between those two?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what I've reflected on a lot too.
Yeah.
What would that look like? And why is there a separation?
Yeah. Well, I still think, as much as you have put this story out there,
I have put them way more together.
There's still a little bit of hiding. I was like, yeah, and I have this kind of motivational speaking thing that I do over here, but let's talk about this, you know. And I'm only going to pull this out if I really think that, you know, you want it or need it or interested in it, I'm not going to like impose it on you. But the truth is that
Mhm.
everything in that talk is why you're so ridiculously effective at this side of the business. Like you cannot separate those out, Trish.
Thank you. And it takes bravery.
100%. Yeah.
I think about what do we have time for a little story? Let's say we're gonna wrap in like 3 minutes, 4 minutes. We'll make this happen. We'll wrap.
Another half an hour if you want.
No, we'll wrap.
It.
Is so anybody who follows me, who's been in the audience of and let's be clear about keynote speaking. I mean, last year I delivered 60 keynotes or workshops that were primarily around, actually, let's say 50, let's say almost 50, that were primarily around my inspirational story and the 5 critical choices. Oh yeah. Like smaller, more intimate stages and settings.
Right. Great.
Which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to get more to the masses. Yeah. I want to get more to the masses. And one of the keynotes that I delivered this year, inspirational keynotes for Choose and Become, was for Danville, Illinois. They had a community behavioral health conference, like 300 people in the community. And this isn't, obviously it's a, nonprofit. They don't have money. They got a grant from the government because they have a really bad opioid epidemic. Oh, wow. Excuse me. And I work with 2 global leading speaker agents and bureaus. And so I was Danville found me from GDA Speakers, my speaker agent in Dallas. I tell you that because they wouldn't have found me. Like Danville and the executive director that made that hiring decision to pay, like a lot of money for a nonprofit to have a professional speaker come in to speak to 300 people that are high school kids, coaches, parents, police officers, firemen, social workers, people that have lost loved ones to drugs, people that have like all of that stuff. Yeah. They would not have found me. But they got me through GDA. So I just connect those dots. And so after the keynote, all these people are coming up to talk to me, and I had seen in the audience this young woman, girl, teenager. And of 300 people, I saw her. And we made eye contact. And I felt moved by her. Wow. And after the keynote, and I give my 5 critical choices, and it's the journey of the pit to the peak. So it includes the TEDx talk, but the whole journey.
Yeah, the whole thing is
the whole thing. Right.
Much deeper than just the TEDx talk. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And afterwards, people are lining up to talk to me. That's always happens, and it's amazing. And it's like my favorite part. It's like my favorite part is engaging with everyone. And I saw at the corner of my eye her waiting with who I thought were her parents, but come to find out it was her grandparents. And she was waiting patiently for me. And I saw it, and so I excused myself, and I went over to her. And I found out she's 15, and her grandparents have guardianship over her, and her grandparents are probably my age, so we got young stuff going there. And part of my keynote speech includes, of course, my sister calling me. And then one of the critical choices that I made on my journey was committing to a 2-way agreement with my sister when she took me in. I gave you that as context because this 15-year-old had experienced something similar to me. her grandparents had just taken her in.
Oh, wow.
And she said to me with tears in her eyes, I feel like I have to go to church, or I have to have dinner with my grandparents, or I have to do the things that I'm supposed to do. But you just showed me that if I keep doing those things, that I'm going to want to.
Yeah.
And my grandparents loved me enough to give me the boundaries and give me the conditions to where I could learn to love again. And she like gave me the biggest, and so I'm telling you the story, which is totally off our path. That is who I want to inspire more. Not just her, but her grandparents, her guardians, her caretakers, the families that just want to help one another and get through some really hard stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what I got to focus on, is how do I remove the barriers that get in the way of my mission, love, and passion, which is to help the one.
You showed up as that 15-year-old's future self, talking to her, right?
I do.
Through
That's exactly
decades.
how I feel.
It's like, oh, this is how it can be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Trish, I have no doubt that you will continue to do this. And I think whether you're telling your story or not, that story is showing up in every interaction you have. So don't think somehow your mission is measured by how many talks you give.
Yeah. I will hold that.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, Jeff.
Conversation. I always love talking with you. And now we did record it. So it's great.
We did record it. And listen, we probably planned on talking about business and growing businesses and what gets in the way. And listen, it's life. It's life
all
and
of this
its choices.
Stuff is about, yeah.
Yeah. And
I mean, how lucky are we that we get to grow businesses through love?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for watching or listening to this episode. If you want to have more conversations like this in your life, make sure and follow the podcast. Subscribe to my email list and you'll get deeper conversations every week on topics like this one. Please follow Trish. Please watch the TED Talk. I will put the link in the show notes. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you next time.